Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. We are joined by Bloomberg's Kriti Gupta. And Kriti, it is a sea of red this morning after President Trump's tariff announcement. Good morning.
Good morning, Nathan. It absolutely is. I'm going to go sector by sector here to make sense of the red on the screen that we are seeing. In some cases, a little bit of green. And yes, there's a little bit of optimism out there in certain parts. I'll get to that in just a moment. Let's kick it off with the worst performer, or two of the worst performers this morning, and that is Nike and Lululemon. If you are a retailer and if you have a supply chain that is extending into not just China, but into Southeast Asia, like Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, even India, a lot of the countries that were named in these reciprocal tariff plans from yesterday, you are selling off circa 10%, and that's where Nike is. NKE down about 10% this morning, trading at $58 a share, and Lululemon is actually taking it a little bit worse. Their LUL, use your ticker there, down about 12%, trading at about $248 a share, and you are seeing that globally with any activewear that has supply chains extending into East Asia. This is going to be the dynamic in terms of the retail space. It's the same story in tech, especially again with supply chains that are very dependent on the chip sector. So I'll start off with Apple here, where of course a lot of their smartphones are made not only in China, but in India as well. And that was a big pivot that Tim Cook had made under the first Trump administration in terms of diversifying away from China. Doesn't really help them at this very moment. AAPL, those shares down about 7.4%, trading at about $207 a share. But to me, the real crux of the story when it comes to the chip sector is that Taiwan had a carve out when it came to the tariffs on Taiwan. That does not include things like chips. That being said, the chip tariffs, or actually the baseline tariffs, are still effective on chips in Japan, South Korea, and other parts of Asia as well. So that is still going to impact the supply chains of the likes of NVIDIA, for example. NVDA down about, we'll call it about 5% this morning. $105 is where we're trading at there. Tesla, a similar story. Remember, EVs require a lot of chips as well. TSLA down 5%, $268 a share there. And we are seeing the same story when it comes to the car makers. GM, not down by as much of a margin as it has been in the last couple of days. Some would argue the pain around the autos is priced in, but still not exempt from the pain this morning. Down about 2.4%. The ticker is GM, trading just about $47 a share. And Stellantis, these are two companies, by the way, that Donald Trump had mentioned were increasing their investment in the United States in his speech yesterday. Stellantis, which is an Italian company, but has their ADRs in the U.S. STLA down 1.6%, but only 1.6% compared to Lululemon's 12% decline. That's very, very little. Nathan, I'll wrap it up with the pharmaceutical sector because that's where we're expecting sectoral tariffs to be announced soon. Eli Lilly is in the firing line there. LLY down about 2% this morning, trading just shy of $803 a share. Johnson & Johnson, I promised you a little green on the screen.
Okay.
Johnson & Johnson is higher by 0.4%. J&J trading at $156 a share. It also has international supply chains, but a little less than some of its counterparts. Perhaps that's why you're seeing a little green on the screen.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.